or as some call it, the YouTubes. Right?
The YouTube.
Yeah, built up. And if you notice, when you watch it back, you don't see me. I purposely positioned it.
Well,
that way.
Jim Gifford did that.
Did he? Is that what it was? Yeah. I've
The one
got,
here wearing a cap.
got this bald spot up here that you get when you start having kids.
That's because Jim was from Ohio State.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see Ohio State.
How about those Vikings, though? Huh? Yeah. All right, I'm from Minnesota, if you can tell. So, all right, let's begin our academic challenge. This is academic challenge for November 17th, the 7 p.m. show. Coming up in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Academic Challenge. I'm Ray Gustafson, your host and moderator. Today we're featuring teams from South Haven and Countryside. WSJM's Academic Challenge features scholastic competition involving high schools from around the southwest Michigan area. Academic Challenge is sponsored by Berrien Springs Public Schools, Lake Michigan College, Lakeshore Public Schools, and the Cook Nuclear Plant. Let's meet the teams. First, from South Haven, we have
Isaac Graham, and I'm a senior.
Maddie Reisinga, and I'm a senior.
Joe Euclid, I'm a senior. Sunny Garber, I'm a senior.
Welcome to Academic Challenge. Move over to Countryside.
Aisha, junior.
Joshua Davis, and I'm a sophomore.
Asher Feener, sophomore.
Caleb Feener, senior.
Welcome again to Academic Challenge. After we ask you the question, we put 10 seconds on the timer. You have 10 seconds to answer. If your team does answer incorrectly, then the other team has 5 seconds to steal the points away from you. Each of the questions vary in the number of points. Bill will announce what those points are. Got a couple of basic rules, though. During the first and second halves, we'll announce the value of each question before it's asked. When you press your button, please wait for me to recognize you. No consultation allowed except during the 60-second round at halftime, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Again, I'm Ray Gustafson, your scorekeeper and judge, and today Bill Klein will be asking the questions. Bill, how you doing?
I'm doing just great.
Are you all set to go?
I'm all set.
Teams, are you set to go?
Yeah.
We are ready for the academic challenge.
We're going to swim through this one, right?
All right. We are ready to begin, and here comes that first question.
For 5 points, complete Thomas Halliburton's line for Sam Slick. Jack of all trades and...
You always start with the tough questions.
I know.
Asher from Countryside.
And all habits.
Incorrect.
South Haven, I'll give you 5 seconds.
Jack of all trades and master of none. For 10 points, hurricanes usually lose energy as they move inland. Why?
Isa, South Haven.
They gain their power from the hot water of the ocean.
I'll let you make that call, Bill.
That's incorrect.
Countryside, 5 seconds. Just in under the buzzer. Caleb, Countryside.
Because of the colder air inland.
Well, incorrect also. It's the friction between the air and the land. It's not because you could still have a hurricane in colder water. So, for 15 points, some newspapers dispose of their garbage by printing it. Said what U.S. Vice President?
Just some.
Just some. I can imagine I know which ones he meant. Spiro T. Agnew.
Oh my gosh, I knew that one because I knew it was Nixon.
Again, you don't lose points for answering incorrectly, so take a guess if you think you know.
All right, get your pencils out. This is a math question for 20 points. During the run of a home show, the number of admissions tripled each day. If the show opened on Monday and attendance totaled 16,200 on Friday, what was the attendance on opening day?
One more time, Bill.
During the run of a home show, the number of admissions tripled each day. If the show opened on Monday and attendance totaled 16,200 on Friday, what was the attendance on opening day?
Caleb, Countryside.
5,400.
Incorrect.
South Haven, want to take a shot?
200. For 15 points, what was the favorite TV freeway of Martin Milner and George Maharis? TV freeway.
Caleb, Countryside.
HBO.
Incorrect.
Joe, South Haven.
CBS?
You missed TV freeway.
Freeway, we're talking
Get
about a
your
highway.
kicks on Route 66. Math question.
Get your pencils ready.
Get your pencils for 15 points. A 120-foot dragon with a 20-foot head is connected from his neck collar by a chain 900 feet long. He's chained to a small mountain. The dragon can breathe fire equal to the entire length of his body. How close do you dare come to that mountain?
I'm going to have you repeat that again, Bill.
Yeah, this is
Well, Caleb, you want to take a try?
1,040 feet.
he's absolutely correct.
Okay. For
Need to
15
repeat
points.
that one. For 20 points, all scholars agree on one man's importance for German culture, surpassing even that of Shakespeare on the English-speaking world. Can you name him?
Joe, South Haven.
Beethoven?
Incorrect.
Countryside. 5 seconds. Caleb, Countryside.
Gutenberg.
Incorrect. Both good guesses. Martin Luther.
Like feces.
For 20 points, put these features on the Colorado River in correct order, upstream to downstream. Hoover Dam, Grand Canyon, Lake Havasu, Lake Mead.
Say them one more time, Bill.
Correct order, upstream to downstream. Hoover Dam, Grand Canyon, Lake Havasu, Lake Mead.
Caleb, Countryside.
Hoover Dam, Lake Havasu, Lake Mead, and the Grand Canyon.
Incorrect.
Maddie, South Haven.
Lake Mead, Hoover Dam, the Grand Canyon, Lake Havasu.
Incorrect. You had it wrong upstream and downstream. Grand Canyon, Lake Mead, Hoover Dam, Lake Havasu. For 20 points, the golden apples of Greek mythology were actually what fruit?
Aisha from Countryside.
Pomegranates?
Incorrect.
Maddie, South Haven.
Pears.
Incorrect. Apricots.
Oh.
For 5 points, what was the number of stars on the U.S. flag raised at Iwo Jima?
Joe, South Haven.
49.
Incorrect.
Caleb, Countryside.
47.
Incorrect. It's 48.
I knew it was
Before Hawaii and Alaska. For 5 points, Bogota is a city of 2 million people, and it is at an altitude of 8,661 feet above sea level. It is the capital of what country?
Maddie, South Haven.
Columbia.
That is correct for 5 points. For 20 points, identify the poet who described the creative process this way. Quote, poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotion recollected in tranquility. End quote.
Aisha, Countryside.
Frost.
Incorrect.
Joe, South Haven.
Langston Hughes?
Incorrect. Wordsworth. Can't get the page turned here. For 5 points, what is the second line of the Star-Spangled Banner?
Isa, South Haven.
By the dawn's early light.
Incorrect. what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming. A multiple choice question for 5 points. What kind of acid is found in acid rain? Ascorbic acid, acetic acid, sulfuric acid.
Caleb, Countryside.
Sulfuric acid?
That is correct for 5 points. For 10 points, what would your zodiac sign be if you were born on St. Patrick's Day?
Joe, Southaven.
Pisces.
That's correct for 10 points. For 5 points, what ocean are the Maldives in?
Joe, Southaven.
Pacific.
Incorrect.
Asher, Countryside.
Atlantic.
Incorrect. The Indian Ocean. For 10 points, California scientists say smoking and aspirin are typical causes of what stomach problem?
Aisha, Countryside.
Ulcers.
That is correct for 10 points. For 15 points, the purpose of one of our constitutional amendments was to repeal another. Identify both amendments.
Joe, Southaven.
21st and the 25th.
Incorrect.
Aisha, Countryside.
18th and 20th.
Incorrect. It was the 18th and the 21st.
About a
One
minute.
right.
About a minute left.
For 15 points, opera's longest aria is Brunhilde's immolation scene. It runs nearly 15 minutes. Name the composer or the opera.
Aisha, Countryside.
Phantom of the Opera.
Incorrect.
Time's up.
It was Richard Wagner, Die Götterdamen, or something like that.
Or something.
I don't speak German. For 15 points, what are the openings on a ship through which the cannon fired?
Sunny, Southaven.
Portholes.
That is correct for 15 points.
That's the end of the first half of today's academic challenge. We'll be back with the score in the 60-second round after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
Yeah. And then the 21st is the drink age, so I used that one, and then I was like, it's 18 because it's 18. I was like, what? Oh, like the ones that are connected. I was like, it's the prohibition.
18th Amendment was prohibition.
I know. Thanks so much. I know, I think it's prohibition.
What are the three categories?
The three categories are Bible quotations, geometry.
Hold on. I've got to write these.
You gotta write it down. That's right.
Bible quotations.
Geometry calculations.
Calculations. Okay.
State line.
State line.
State line.
Okay, Isa, are you the team captain again?
I am.
Okay. Aisha, are you the team captain? Aisha. I'm getting it. It's only been like, what, 4 times now? And
And it's such a
I
pretty
know.
name.
It is. It's such a pretty name. But I look at it, and to me, it's Aisha. But
Ours almost sounds the same.
Isa and Aisha.
Isa and Aisha.
That's what's going to be the tough one. So, after the 60-second round, you guys both have something to say about the. Okay, are you ready for the 60-second round? Okay, all right. Here we go. 60-second round in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Academic Challenge on WSJM. At the end of the first half, the score, Countryside 30, Southaven 15. Now on to the 60-second round. Teams, you have 3 categories to choose from. We'll give you 60 seconds to answer as many.
That's
It's 30 to 30, sir.
30 to, oh, my bad, 30 to 30.
Yeah, they got 15
start
points on
that
the
over.
last question.
My bad. I didn't get my, you're right. My bad. 5, 10, 15. It's tied. My bad. My bad. I had it, but I didn't put it on my sheet here. So I will start that whole process again. So before we start, we need to flip a coin.
I have one right here.
You got a coin? So
Who's the home team?
So This is their second round, so we'll give that team to.
Okay,
so
it's a
actually,
quarter, so we know the heads and the tails, right?
Call it in the air. Heads or tails? Heads it is. So would you like to go first or second in the 60-second round? Want to go first? I apologize on the missed score. I had it on my sheet. I just didn't transfer it over onto here. So Countryside is going to go first. My bad. Okay, we'll start over with the 60-second round. Sorry about that. And here we go with the second try of the 60-second round in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Academic Challenge on WSJM. At the end of the first half, we have a tie. Countryside and South Haven both tied at 30 points each. Now on to the 60-second round. Teams, you have 3 categories to choose from. We'll give you 60 seconds to answer as many of the 10 questions as you can, each one worth 10 points. There will be a 20-point bonus if you answer all 10 within that time limit. You're encouraged to consult with one another at this point, but the answers need to come from the team captain. After the minute is up, the opposing team will have a chance to answer any questions the first team could not answer. During the break, we flipped a coin. Countryside won the coin toss, and they get to go first. So you have a choice of 3 categories, which are Bible quotations, geometry calculations, and state line. Aisha, what would you like to choose for your team?
Bible quotation.
Bible quotations it is. We will put 60 seconds on the timer, and that 60 seconds will start after he reads the introduction and the first question.
The introduction is, who in the Bible uttered these quotations? And we'll start with number 1. Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world.
John the Baptist.
Correct. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
Pass.
The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Job.
Correct. Except I shall see in his hand the print of the nails, I will not believe.
Thomas.
Correct. Thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting.
Pass.
I am my brother's keeper. Am I my brother's keeper? Sorry.
Cain.
Correct?
Correct. Would God had I died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son.
Time's up. So you got 4 correct for 40 points. So we'll move over to South Haven. That means there are 6 remaining questions. We will ask you those 6 in 60 seconds, and if you can pick up an extra 60 points if you'd like to. Again, I'll only take the answers from the team captain. So, Isa, are you ready with your team? Remember, you can consult along the way. 60 seconds is on the clock. Read the introduction and the first question.
Who in the Bible uttered these quotations? In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
God.
Correct. Thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting.
Pass.
Would God I had died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son.
Jacob.
Incorrect. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine.
God.
Incorrect. Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water.
Peter.
Correct. The wolf shall also dwell with the lamb, and the little child shall lead them.
Jesus.
Incorrect. You get passed on this one. Thou art weighed in the balances, and art found wanting.
All right, time's up. So you got 2 correct.
That was Daniel.
Daniel it was. So 20 points for South Haven on that. Now we'll turn across the table.
You want the answers to the other ones?
So.
God had I died for thee, O Absalom, was David. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine, was Satan. And the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the little child shall lead them, is Isaiah.
All right, we'll move over to the other side of the table. South Haven, we have 2 categories remaining from the original 3. Those two categories remaining are geometry calculations or state line. Isa, what would you like to choose?
State line, please.
State line it is. 60 seconds back on the timer. And we will begin with those 60 seconds as soon as he's done reading that first question.
What state borders Alabama to the north?
Kentucky.
Incorrect. What state is due south of Utah?
New Mexico.
Incorrect. Which U.S. state is directly south of British Columbia?
Washington.
Correct. What state borders Arkansas to the north?
Pass.
What state borders Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Louisiana?
Missouri.
Incorrect. What state is bordered by Minnesota, Lake Superior, Michigan, Lake Michigan, Illinois, and Iowa?
Wisconsin.
Correct. What state borders on 4 of the Great Lakes?
Michigan.
Correct. What state borders Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Nebraska, and South Dakota?
Iowa.
Correct. I
Time's
wasn't sure
up.
if that was Isa saying it or not.
Yeah.
So we got 4 correct
4
on that one. So you picked up 40 points. That means there's 6 questions, Countryside, that you can pull some points away from. We'll put 60 seconds back on the timer. And Countryside, if you are ready, here we go.
What state borders Alabama to the north? Tennessee. That's correct. What state is due south of Utah?
Nevada.
Incorrect. Arizona. What state borders Arkansas to the north?
Colorado.
Missouri.
Wait, what? No.
What state borders Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Louisiana?
Take stupid answers. South Carolina.
Mississippi. What state can you walk to from Arizona across the Hoover Dam?
Nevada.
That's correct. Of the 8 states bordering Tennessee, which one extends farthest north?
West Virginia.
Missouri. They
Got
got
it?
2. Yep.
All right, so they got 2 correct. So that ends our 60-second round. We'll check the scores and conclude the game next here on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
Okay, that would be cheating. That would not be cheating. It would be based on math.
This is unbelievable.
Yep.
Still time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Years ago, we were. Yeah.
You were late like half an hour before that happened, though, so.
Joe, years ago when we were doing this at a different radio station, we had a geometry question like this, and there was a huge world map right behind us. And all you had to do was look at it. But nobody did.
There was a question like that, you know, the Tom Sawyer one, or was like, what was his aunt? And then the next
I'll
one
come
was
to you
his
first.
Aunt
Aunt Polly.
And I was like, oh, it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
That's
it
fine.
kind of gave it away.
Are we ready? Ready for the second half, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. So we are still tied. So it's like we're starting over. Here we go with the second half in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Academic Challenge on WSJM. The score at the end of the 60-second round, we still have a tie. Countryside 90, South Haven 90. It's time to find out what's happening at each of our participating schools. From South Haven, Isa, what's going on at South Haven?
We will be competing in the MHSAA State Swim Meet this Friday. Go Rams. And thank you to our sponsors, Berrien Springs Public Schools, Cook Nuclear Plant, Lakeshore Public Schools, and Lake Michigan College. Also, South Haven would like to thank all of the schools who sent messages of condolence after the loss of one of our fellow seniors, Devo Smiley.
Yeah, I think it should be noted, too, that all 4 of these young ladies are on that swim team.
Exactly. Over on the Countryside, Aisha, what's going on?
Countryside Academy is preparing for the free community dinner that we will be holding on December 17th from 5 to 7 p.m. This event is sponsored by our school's PTO, FFA, and cheerleaders. We're also involved in the Blanket Drive to support Homelessness Awareness Month. Also, thank you to all of our sponsors, and today is National Take a Hike Day.
Oh, good. I'll tell my wife that.
Well, she probably tells you that quite a bit,
She
too.
tells me that all the time.
I would guess. I would guess. All right, we'll begin the second half of today's academic challenge between South Haven and Countryside. We have more questions ready to go. Get your hands on your buzzers. Keep your pencils handy in case he pulls up a math question. And let's begin the second half of the academic challenge.
For 5 points, one of our 50 states is actually getting larger. Silt deposited annually by the Mississippi River adds about 1,000 acres to the delta in the Gulf of Mexico. What's the state?
Joe, South Haven.
Louisiana.
That is correct for 5 points. For 20 points, where did Lady Godiva ride naked? We're looking for the location.
Isa, South Haven.
Italy.
Incorrect.
Caleb, Countryside.
Times Square.
I think some recreations have done that, but it was in Coventry, England. For 10 points, which president said, "It is gratifying to see at this table tonight the most superbly educated men in the world, for in this room there are 3 Rhodes Scholars, 4 graduates of Harvard, 3 of Yale, and 1 from Southwest State Teachers College." Who was the president?
Caleb, Countryside.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Incorrect.
Joe, South Haven.
FDR.
Incorrect. Those are all West Easterners. Lyndon Johnson, Southwest State Teachers College in Texas. For 5 points, what science deals with the mind and mental processes?
Aisha, Countryside.
Neurology.
Incorrect.
Isa, South Haven.
Psychology.
That is correct for 5 points. For 10 points, for the first time ever in April, what fuel source was not America's largest source of electricity?
Caleb, Countryside.
Coal.
That's correct for 10 points. For 15 points, what surpassed coal for the first time?
Caleb, Countryside.
Windmills.
Incorrect.
Joe, South Haven.
Natural gas.
That's correct for 15 points. For 20 points, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker had declared his candidacy for the Republican nomination. If he were elected, he would have been the first president since Harry Truman not to have what?
Isa, South Haven.
A college degree.
That is correct for 20 points. For 15 points, in Mexico, powerful drug lord Joaquin Guzman escaped from a high-security prison for the second time. What is his nickname?
Aisha, Countryside.
El Chapo.
That is correct for 15 points. And why do you know that? NSA will be here shortly. For 5 points, who won her 21st major championship title and 4th consecutive Grand Slam title at Wimbledon?
Aisha, Countryside.
Serena Williams.
That is correct for 5 points. For 20 points, after marathon talks in what European capital, the head of the European Commission announced that they had reached a bailout deal with Greece?
Isa, South Haven.
Germany.
Incorrect.
Aisha, Countryside.
London.
Incorrect. It was in Brussels. For 15 points, after 16 straight days of talk in what European capital, the U.S. and 5 other nations reached a deal with Iran on its nuclear program?
Aisha, Countryside.
Berlin.
Incorrect.
Isa, South Haven.
Paris.
Incorrect. It was Vienna. For 15 points, the long-anticipated release of Harper Lee's new novel, Go Set a Watchman, has upset many fans because it portrays which To Kill a Mockingbird character as a racist?
Aisha, Countryside.
Gem.
Incorrect.
Isa, South Haven.
Scout.
Incorrect. It was Atticus Finch. And the Twin City Players will be doing that play, To Kill a Mockingbird, in April. So come and see Atticus Finch as a non-racist.
Are you in that?
We don't know. It hasn't been auditioned yet. I'd like to be. For 5 points, according to NASA, at 7:49 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, July 14th, a spacecraft traveled past what heavenly body?
Joe, South Haven.
Jupiter?
Incorrect.
Caleb, Countryside.
The North Star.
Incorrect. Heavenly body. Pluto. No longer a planet. For 10 points, why did Germany sentence 94-year-old Oscar Groening to 4 years in prison?
Aisha, Countryside.
He was worked at one of the concentration camps.
That's acceptable. He was an accountant at Auschwitz. So that's 10 points.
All right.
For 10 points, name the metrical romance written in 6 books of 12 cantos each by Edmund Spenser. The Fairy Queen. For 15 points, this art form, practiced in Italy from the 13th century on, is one of the most permanent forms of wall decoration known.
Caleb, Countryside.
Baroque.
Incorrect.
I'm going to finish the question.
Diego Rivera also practiced this technique in Mexico in the 20th century. Name this art form.
South Haven, want to give it a try? Isa,
Mural?
South Haven.
Mural. I'm sorry.
Wrong. It's fresco. For 5 points, in 1972, the shape of a new structure of world politics began to come into focus with what 3 countries known as the Big Three?
Joe, South Haven.
Should I name the countries or the
The 3 countries known as the Big Three.
U.S., USSR, and then, oh my goodness.
Need an answer. No consultation. All right, we'll have to pass.
Great Britain.
We'll take it.
Incorrect.
Pass. Yep, Countryside. Asher, Countryside.
USSR, US and Great Britain.
Incorrect. It was China. USSR and China. For 20 points, John Eaton was the Secretary of War. His wife was not accepted by other cabinet members' wives, and a problem which had then led to the reorganization of the cabinet. This dispute happened during which president's administration?
Caleb, Countryside.
John Adams.
Incorrect.
Maddie, South Haven.
Nixon?
Incorrect. Andrew Jackson.
Oh, I had that. I thought of it.
For 5 points, what name belongs to a U.S. capital, a city in Missouri, a university in New York, a major U.S. river, and a U.S. space shuttle?
Joe, South Haven.
Columbia?
That's correct for 5 points. For 10 points, what 7th king of Israel shares his name with a Herman Melville character?
Isa, South Haven.
Ishmael?
Incorrect. Ahab. Moby Dick. For 15 points, what sterilization process can kill 99.9% of salmonella organisms in poultry?
Joe, South Haven.
Penicillin?
Incorrect.
Caleb, Countryside.
Scrubbing with hand soap.
Irradiation.
Less than a minute left.
For 10 points, what tree's fluttering seeds are called keys? We're looking for the tree. What tree's fluttering seeds are called keys?
Joe, South Haven.
Oak.
Incorrect.
Aisha, Countryside.
Evergreen.
Incorrect. Maple. For 20 points, what is the next number in this sequence? 4, 27, 256. The next number. 4, 27, 256. $3,125. For 20 points, who was it that said the object of war is victory? The object of victory is conquest, and the object of conquest is occupation.
Aisha, Countryside.
Sun Tzu.
Incorrect.
Isaac, South Haven.
Napoleon.
Napoleon Bonaparte is absolutely correct.
For 20 points.
20 points.
Well, that does it. That's the end of today's academic challenge match. We'll tabulate the scores
Good
and
catch,
announce the
guys.
winners after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
Good job. It's not tight, is it?
No. No.
I was so sorry about the one about Jackson. I thought it, and then I was like, Joe, I'll be right home.
I just read that book, too.
All right, let's do a quick wrap-up, if I could get you to keep it down real quick, and of course we'll applaud once we announce the winner here. All right, we'll wrap it up in 3, 2, 1. We're back on WSJM's Academic Challenge to announce today's winner and thank our sponsors. The winners by a score 130 to 160, the team from South Haven. Congratulations, South Haven.
Good match.
Thank you all for joining us on WSJM's Academic Challenge, brought to you by Lakeshore Public Schools, Lake Michigan College, Berrien Springs Public Schools, and the Cook Nuclear Plant. Join us again in 2 weeks at the same time as Coloma and Countryside go head-to-head on Academic Challenge.
And everybody have a nice, happy Thanksgiving.
Not a bad idea. Cincinnati plays Arizona next. You are a Cincinnati guy. This is